Hi! Have you ever had a card idea and then made it more difficult than it needs to be? Well, that's exactly what I started to do when I wanted to use the beautiful snowflake border die from the limited edition Stampin' Up! Snowfall Thinlits dies. Well, the solution was quite easy, and I can hardly wait to show you my clean and simple handmade Christmas card using both the Snowflake Thinlits dies and the limited edition Snow is Glistening stamp set. A big part of my clean and simple Christmas card was to cut the Festive Farmhouse Designer Series paper to get the most out of it. I'm Shelly Godby, the owner and CEO of Stamping Smiles, and for 17 years I've been teaching others how to create their own hand stamped smiles, and wait until you see I got more out of it than I ever dreamed. Here's a closer view of the limited edition Snow is Glistening stamp set and the coordinating Snowfall Thinlits dies. Look at all these snowflakes, but wait, there are even more. Oh my gracious. And we'll be using this snowflake border die today. Isn't that pretty? And so both of these are available through November 30th, 2018 only, if supplies last, so they could run out anytime. So you can pick these up in my online store, www.shopwithshelly.com. But also we have the Happiness Surround stamp set that coordinates with the Snowflake Thinlits dies. So you'll be able to take your dies beyond winter. Fabulous. All right, so what we're going to do is some die cutting. I've got my Big Shot die cutting machine and the Big Shot platform that comes with the purchase of a Big Shot. So we need to build up our sandwich, make it thick enough to cut that thin metal die. So next we need the thin die adapter. This also comes with the purchase of a Big Shot. Now you could use the standard cutting plate, but instead I'm going to use the precision base plate. This is an additional purchase, but one you want when you're doing these intricate dies. So the writing side, that goes down. Okay, so next we have Whisper White thick cardstock. I wanted the Whisper White thick so it would stand out even better. Now, if you follow my videos, you know I just love the multi-purpose adhesive sheets, and typically I'd be turning this delicate die cut into a self-adhesive die cut. But for whatever reason, I'm not able to get the cardstock out with the multi-purpose adhesive sheets this time. So we're going to do it without it. So then here's our beautiful die, and then that raised edge, that's the cutting edge. Put that down. Okay, so put that on there, and then I'll place the cutting pad on top because I'm not using magnetic platform, so I don't want to scoot the die. I want to make sure it stays on the paper, and then go ahead and crank this through. And so we're building up that sandwich to make it thick enough so that 3,000 pounds of pressure, can you believe it? So put your fingers in there, can cut through this. So whenever I do an intricate die like this, I just like to back up and run it through again. Okay, and then look at how this cuts through that like butter. Isn't that amazing? So this is just all going to fall away. That is so great. And so now, look, we've got those really thin lines. So what we're going to do is take the Big Shot die brush, okay, and it comes with this foam mat. And first we'll start by running it over top to get out all those little pieces. That'll save time from needing to poke every one of those out. I want to show you how to get this out of the die. It's not something you rip out real quickly, but it's so pretty. It's worth a little bit of extra time. So I've got my take your pick tool, and I have the paper piercing tool on this end. So we're going to start by, see all these little poke out holes, and that's what helps once you get all the other out, the little pieces, because then you can identify the poke out holes. So we're just going to gently push on those. Okay, and then gently pull. Let's get this going. There we go, see? And then if it gets a little bit stuck, just stop again. There we go. Just keep gently. You don't want to tear it. Those poke out holes. First I thought, what are those for? But I quickly found out. Thank goodness for those. See, it comes out really easy when you go ahead and use those. And you do need a paper piercing tool for this. So either your paper piercing tool or your take your pick tools, because you have so much more you can do with this. There we go. Easy peasy, not bad, right? Okay, don't pull. When you get there, if it's not coming out easy, just take an extra second or two. Oh, there we go. We've got that out. Isn't that just a beautiful die cut? So now we need to use this again. So let's put this aside. And then I have this pattern from the Festive Farmhouse designer paper. Gosh, I just love plaid. So what I did was, what I was thinking was, when I made this die cut, I knew I wanted to make a border on there. And so I was thinking, all right, what we'll do is I'll draw a line, and so then I can mask it and stamp on there. And I thought, what in the world? That's going to be so much work. And then trying to cut that. Well, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Let's just cut right on the designer paper. Let's make life easier. So that's exactly what we're going to do. So, and I cut this paper to 4 by 5 1/4, because if I do 4, then I can get 3, you know, in a row. So I'll be able to get 6 out of a sheet, a 12 by 12 sheet. So there we go. That's looking good. And same sandwich, because we're doing the same daggum thing. Go ahead and crank this through. And then back it up for good measure. And I always come back to the start anyway. All right, and so because we use that precision base plate again, it's going to cut through this. Oh, excuse me, as it slides off my lap. Cut through like butter. And then we'll use the Big Shot die brush and get the rest of that out of there. But this is the piece that we're after right now. So we've got our die cut pieces, and because we didn't use the multi-purpose adhesive sheets, we need to put adhesive on here. So let's turn that over, and I prefer the multi-purpose liquid glue for this, because watch, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and gently put this on, and then, so just follow along the lines. And what I like about this is we can just let it air dry till it gets tacky, so we don't have glue squirting out all over, okay? So just follow those lines. You don't have to do the whole center. I like to do the edges so they don't lift up on me. So I have one done to save time, since it's already dry and tacky and sticking to me. There we go. We put this aside. I'll be able to use this for another one. Fantastic. And so then I have my Whisper White thick cardstock. So I'm doing the thick because it makes for a great card base. It's heavy where it won't buckle when it stands up. It'll look nice, and it can take the weight of layers. And then look, see, so I cut that by, you know, the 4. And so we have an edge around it, and I like that, a frame. So we're going to adhere this with the SNAIL adhesive. Put your finger where those ridges are. And let's go along these other areas, right? Because it's not just nice and straight. And this is just going to work out so well instead of how complicated I was making with thinking everything I need to do. And designer paper sure makes this easy. So there we go. I'm just centering it from the top and side to side. Oh, that looks good. And then we take this. I don't know if I have got that going the right way. Oops, this way. And see, this is why I wanted the Whisper White thick. So the white cardstock would have more dimension to it and stand out even better against the white. Isn't that slick? Oh my gracious. I'm just crazy about this. And I purposely cut my Whisper White thick cardstock a little bit bigger than I needed for doing this piece, so I wouldn't have to be exactly precise of where I want it to hit. But all I'm going to do now is take my paper snips. I like to have an edge to cut against, so if I open it up, see, I can cut along there. If I try to do it like this, I'm kind of doing it blind, where this, I've got that edge to hold it against. So now it's flush to the edge. Doesn't that look sharp? Oh, good. All right. I love this. I am so pleased. So now to finish it off, really quite easy. Got a little bit, there we go, a little bit of adhesive on there. This greeting says, sending a blurry of wishes for a wonderful season. And so I like to open it up. I like something nice and flat. I'm going to use the Tuxedo Black Memento ink pad. Go ahead and ink this up. And black is one of the colors in this Festive Farmhouse designer paper. So I just thought that would look really sharp instead of the cherry cobbler. Come right down here, stamp. Oh, very nice. All right, and so now for some finishing touches. This is fun. We have the snowflake trinkets. There we go. Now these are limited edition too, so these are available through November 30th, 2018 in my online store, if supplies last that long. And I thought, oh, that'll look so sharp on there. So we need to attach it. So what we're going to do is use a mini glue dot. And open this up. There we go. And you don't want to touch them if you can avoid it, because that takes away from the extreme stickiness. So I'm going to press it onto there. Now that's hanging over a little bit. I don't know that you can see it, but I don't want any adhesive peeking through. So I use my paper piercing tool to get it all on that little white dot, or that, not white dot, that in the center. Okay. And then press that on there, and I thought, oh, I like that. And so then I thought, oh, we've got that rhinestone in the center. How about, because this card was so quick and easy, we just make it even fancy dancier, and by adding more rhinestones. So I have the rhinestone basic jewels, and then let me show you with the take your pick tool. Now this other end is for picking up the sequins and all that. Whoops, pull that off. And it has that putty. This other end, you take and rotate that, and look. Then we have a spatula. So I'm going to use these smaller ones. I like to press down first so the adhesive is stuck to the rhinestone instead of the paper. And that little spatula lets you pick it up. There you go, so you can place them. It's so much easier than trying to use your fingers. Here we go. And I'll have a link to my blog post with all the measurements for this card. Link to my blog post with this card with all of the measurements. So let me show you this all done, because all I did was put a rhinestone in the center of each of them. Isn't that sharp? I am so pleased. Okay, so I told you, that as I was designing it, I purposely did the 4 inches so we could get 3 rows out of the 12-inch paper. And then I looked and I still had this piece left. I thought, huh. So look what I did. Same idea, but oh my goodness. So now I can't choose. Now this greeting is also from the Snow is Glistening stamp set. So I can hardly pick. I'm loving both. I had this idea and that's what I wanted. And I was so very happy. And then I looked at that leftover piece and then I looked, oh, I love both, but you don't have to choose. You'll get 2 cards out of every sheet and the same idea. So there you go. Clean and simple handmade Christmas cards with the limited edition Snow is Glistening stamp set and Snowfall Thinlits dies. If you'd like to make my clean and simple handmade Christmas cards, all the supplies are listed below the video and available to order now in my online store, www.shopwithshelly.com. But remember, the Snow is Glistening stamp set, the Snowfall Thinlits dies, and the Snowflake trinkets, well, they're available through November 30th, 2018 only, if supplies last that long. So get on over now to my online store, www.shopwithshelly.com. I'm Shelly Godby, teaching you how to create hand stamped smiles. Thanks for watching.